someone comes to me and they don't know me at all, and I'm a dad, right? I mean, I'm in Kitchener, Ontario, and some guy goes up to me and, oh yeah, I heard your kid plays here, or you train players. Like, what do you think of this? Like, if I give them like just flippant information, just do this because I do this. This is how it works. Blah blah blah. And they just take that and run with it. It's like that's probably not good because I had nothing to lose there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was no investment that you had in giving that advice.
Yeah. So if I never see this person again, what does it bother me? Right. So I would, and I mean, there are people love helping. Like, well, I don't know that, but
I
people
feel
love
like
to
people
give their
do, yeah.
opinion. But like, you could find people. Let's go back to that U18 thing. Okay, so who do you have? Like, are there anybody locally that you would know that played the game, right? That are fairly current, or ask the U18 coach. Like, just ask them. Like, okay, that opinion might be like, why should like, okay, U18 as opposed to going to junior B or junior A. All right, big decision for me as a player. Who do I ask? Well, you could ask the U18 coach. Now you know that you already know that the answer is going to be leaning like you should play here, right? Fair enough, right? Now, a good person would say, well, I'd love to have you play here, but not but. If you played here, would be like they'd show you the good sides of it and then show you the good sides of the other thing and then kind of leave you with a decision to make, right? A, 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 a shitty person like that, if that person was coaching, if just automatically says you play here, this is the way to go. I'll develop you, blah blah blah. Then you might want to look and say, okay, that guy was just in it for himself. You know, then you look at, is there any players recently that played that my son might know or my daughter might know or whatever that has been through this recently, and tell me the good and bad of you playing U18 as opposed to playing junior B. We're using this as one example, right? And then you get, oh, it was so like you might find a guy that, yeah, like the U18 was good for me because I ended up getting drafted in the OHL from it, or it gave me a year to develop. I grew a little bit, and I had a great year, got lots of ice, and I'm a better player now. And right, or you're going to get a guy that, yeah, I really wish I didn't do this because it stagnated. But you're getting an opinion. So I think the more that you form of that, the better. Like that's the bottom line. I think the biggest mistake people make is they go to the wrong people. Like obviously, it's so easy to get. Like it's even like every now and then I look at the comments and I go like, this is actually pretty funny. There's one person that played a little bit, runs some kind of hockey stuff, and has an account. I'm not going to say who, what, when, what account, and all that stuff. But every time he makes a comment, he goes, "Yeah, well, that doesn't work," or that it's always a negative thing. It's like anybody can do that. Like I could watch um, any practice or a clip and say, well, yeah, that's wrong, or that, yeah, but and pick it apart. It's like, okay, why don't you offer something and then let someone else pick you apart, because we can do that easily. So anyways, when you talk to Joe Dad that knows everything about everything, it's easy for him to just throw his opinion out. There's nothing to lose, nothing for him to gain. It's just likes to throw his mouth around and talk. Like, where did you play? How did you play? Like, do you make intelligent decisions with your son? Do you do anything different than other people? Like there's a lot of things that add up to, like, that'd be a good person to talk to, right?
Yeah. For me, the two, it doesn't matter who you talk to. I think the two big indicators for me, and I try to do this whenever I talk to anybody about anything, is can the source acknowledge where they're either limited or don't know? So for me, as an example, when people ask me about our academy program for next year, when I'm talking to them, I'll say, I would say this, but I think this is going to be where you get your best development because we have the best people involved and yada, yada, yada. But I work here. So I always throw that caveat of self-awareness so that they can hear that I'm acknowledging, obviously I would say this because I work here, and I don't know other places because I don't work there. So my opinion is obviously going to be biased towards what I'm doing. So there's one. And then the second one is being able to say, I don't know, when you don't know what the answer is. Because there's times where you don't know the answer because nobody knows the answer. And if you find someone swimming for answers just so they can get you what you want to hear, it should be a red flag. And you can kind of tell, like, at least I can, in the throes of conversation, you can feel when someone's stretching or when they're talking in a circle, or when they're not really giving you a direct answer. And those are the big ones for me. And it
Well,
doesn't. Sorry, go.
don't you go? You
No,
finish up. I'm
that's whatever. Go.
well. I was just thinking, going off on a couple tangents there, like because that's we use one U18. So let's just flip it around. Like, um, so if someone say spring hockey or development, right? There's another thing. Or how good of a coach do you need to have to be a player? So if you asked let's say you ask someone like myself, or someone that's played in the NHL or junior or coaches or whatever, someone higher level. He said, "Well, hey, what do you think of spring hockey?" And their answer is stupid. Okay, no, but like that sounds like okay, it sounds an asshole. But the guy played, so maybe you want okay. Why is it stupid? Like, why do you think it's stupid? And they go, well, because like whatever the reasons are, it's waste. It's all it is a moneymaker. Oh, okay. So and that's all you're giving me? Okay. So maybe that's true because that guy played at a certain level. Um, so you might want to consider that and then explore that with other people, right? Development, it's or spring hockey is like totally important. Like, no, you have to do spring hockey. It's like, oh, okay, but somewhere it lies in the middle, and again, it goes back to your thing. It all depends, right? So so for me, when I give that answer, and I've done this a lot of times, I always when I talk about a spring hockey or development, I go, I just think it's too much. Here's why I think that, and I give reasons that yeah, it costs a lot of money for what you're always on the ice, you never get a break, it's blah 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 blah, and I have my opinions, but I always leave it with, but if you feel like that's a thing that you need to do, then God bless you, man, and the horse you rode in on.
My thing, the big one I'm getting right now, because all these junior teams are starting to have their camps. Everyone, I'm getting a lot of, should I go to this camp or not? Or I got this invite to this camp, should I go? And I say the same thing to everybody about every junior camp. I don't care what anybody says about anything. All of those camps are to make money. That's number one. They're charging you money. It's a fundraiser for the team. That's what it's for. Even if coach says, hey, come to our camp, they still want to make money. That's the point. But having said that, I'm not taking it to the extreme of it's just a moneymaker, it's irrelevant, they don't pay attention to who's there anyways, because that's not true. So
there's an element of scouting.
Exactly. On the one hand, it's a moneymaker, but on the other hand, this happens to people all the time where they paid to go, and they were nobody, no name, and they made an impression. They made it to the main camp or whatever, and then they went on to make the team. That happens. So it's both. It can be both, and it's just being honest about both. Like, we do this to raise money for our team, but we still want to find the best players. So if there's someone we don't know about, then that's good. So what I tell people, my answer for that particular question is, yes, it's a moneymaker, but if you can afford it and logistically it makes sense, and it's not like a pain in your ass, and you want the experience, that's fine. You go. You can go. Don't camp yourself to death, because you could be running around doing camps all summer if you wanted to,
every day,
and then you don't really have an off season. But for that, it's fine. And that's an honest answer, and that's knowing how it works. Like, we work with junior teams, like I know how it works, So that's been a popular one where people just can't seem to tell the difference of, oh, is this person actually interested in my kid, or am I getting a generic? And most of the time people are getting generics, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Like, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing every time, So being able to evaluate that kind of information is important, because those are the questions that are going to come up. It's always the same questions every year. It's the same questions all the time,